Yeah, let's talk about the Florida Evans scenario, man. What you think about Florida Evans, bro? From Good
I don't
Time.
fuck with Florida Evans at all.
Yeah, I don't fuck with Florida Evans either.
I
Tell
love
me,
Esther Roll.
tell, tell him why you mad, son.
So I love Esther Roll. Before I get into my issues with Florida Evans, I'm gonna say I love Esther Roll. Talented actress, thespian.
Right,
From my understanding, she was on Broadway for many years and doing classic work, in her lifetime. So I love Esther Roll and recognize, her contribution to the industry.
right.
However, I don't like the way that Norman Lear and the writers for Good Times wrote the Florida Evans character. And
Why?
here's what I don't like.
What's up?
So we spoke about this before.
Hmm.
My issue, like if people are familiar, Good Times was a spinoff from this show called Maud. Maud, you had said it was B. Arthur.
Yeah, B.
That
Arthur
that's
from the
that's
Golden
Maud,
Girls. That was her
right?
TV show. Yep.
Yeah. Maud. Um, Florida Evans was the housekeeper on Maud, and she was this no nonsense on Maud. Before Good Times, she was portrayed as this no nonsense black woman that didn't hold her tongue. She was fierce, right? So now, if everybody is familiar with Good Times and you know the very passive nature of Florida Evans on Good Times, you know that that's the complete opposite.
Hmm.
And that's not a problem. I don't have an issue with that. But the problem that I have with Florida Evans is that, and perhaps the issue is more so with the writers on Good Times at the time, is that they never wanted her to make, they never allowed her to recognize the opportunity for progress when it was presented as a result of James Good doing his commitment and love that he had for his family.
Word.
You know what I mean?
She's the original angry black woman.
She
She the original OG, bro. She out here wilding, bro. You know what I'm saying? She come through with an attitude all the time and stuff. Always got something smart to say. James
yeah.
just trying to make ends meet and put food on the table, man.
No, that's a fact. That's a fact.
Yeah, like I was saying before, man. Like I watched the first episode, man. She came through. I guess her back was hurting and stuff like that. I don't know if she's working. Dumb was cooking, Dumb was trying to cook for the family and stuff because she couldn't get up.
Yeah.
James out there, money's a little low. He was getting his check, but it wasn't enough.
Yep.
But rent was due.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
he
Yep.
came up with an idea. He was like, "Yo, man, I know how to get this money." You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? JJ
That's
was
right.
trying to sell some art. You know what I'm saying?
Which
And
is what a man does. A
what a
man
man
figures
does,
it
he
out
came
for
out
his
with the
family.
resources. There was different multiple streams of income that he could try to make it happen,
That's right.
and he chose to do it. His skill was pool, and go to the pool hall, get his money and everything like that, bring it back. She's stopping him from being that individual because she has a fear of whatever that he gonna lose all the money. She didn't have faith that he had the skills to do it, and he knew he had the skills. You
Yep.
know,
That's
so
right.
he came back. For some reason, he was afraid to tell his wife that he went against her position and the perspective,
Yep.
and told the kids like, "Don't tell your mother." You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's a man. He's like, "Yo, I did what I had to do to make it happen. So be quiet and be cool with it." You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
He was done with it. He gave the money up. She know how he got that money, but she never thanked her. She never thanked her husband.
Yeah.
She never said thank you, baby, for so always trying to find ways to make ends meet. Who she thanking? White
White
Jesus.
Jesus.
God damn it, white Jesus on
White
the wall
Jesus.
in the crib.
White Jesus. White Jesus. And here's the thing. I don't listen, we know that black women historically are very religious, right? And I listen, I understand the significance of that, even though I'm not a believer, right? Um, I recognize that it's the prayers of the women in my life that have kept me protected. You know
Okay.
what I mean? I'm definitely clear on that. Even my wife now, who is a very prayerful woman, I recognize the power of her prayers, right?
Right.
But the issue that I have with Florida Evans is that she allowed herself to put, and this was the situation with a lot of women that are deeply religious, and they can't separate reality from from prayers, or what prayers bring about, she would rather go and pray to white Jesus, the picture on the wall, to get the rent, than her husband, who has a plan to go out and get the money.
Right.
Now, I know people that are familiar with the episode will say, yeah, you know what, but it's because of her prayers and that kept the family afloat, and she's just doing what what she's inclined to do, and she's in tune with her faith. That's fine. But in that moment, and even though it's a television moment, in reality, so many people, women particularly, black women particularly, that are in the home and they have a husband that is willing to go out and do the work and make the sacrifice, or shake the proverbial tree, if you will, to find the money to make ends meet. They go to the church and pray and hope that something happens. And then when nothing happens, guess what? You're still left with the same consequence. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't pray, but there is something that says in the Bible, uh, faith without works is dead, which means don't put all of your trust in the faith. Get your ass up and do something about it too. You know what I'm saying? Do the work so that you can get to the goal that you want to get to. So had James been one of those henpecked men that was like, you know what, I'm just going to stay here and, I want to make her happy, let me just chill, they would have been kicked out of their apartment and been
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
it's just one thing. It's one thing, and I didn't mean to cut you up, bro.
no, you all right.
So stay in your square. But it's one thing, like, you know what I mean, for praying and everything, because you connected to the higher consciousness, man. It's gonna bring the information that you need to, survive. It's another thing, you listen to your inner voice, your inner God being.
That's
you
right.
know?
That's
God
right.
told you that this is uncomfortable. You don't want to be uncomfortable. Here's a resource that you can help yourself be uncomfortable. He opened the omen. He recognized the omen that he knew that it was something that he had to do to make sure that he didn't get kicked out of the projects.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
And sometimes it shouldn't be even discussed with your wife.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because if your wife, you know what I'm saying, she's going to use her emotions or how she feel about the situation when this is necessary.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
You know what I mean? So
That's
it's like
right.
we have to make sure that we just do what we got to do and don't check for, you know what I'm saying? And don't get me wrong, women are all wisdom. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
definitely. True indeed.
To make you to definitely make sure that you stay on the right course. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's their job. They help me. That's their position to do that. But on the same token, you got to make sure things happen regardless of the fact. You can't let somebody else's information cloud your judgment.
That's
When
right.
it comes to that, because if James would have listened to Florida at that time or stuff like that, they would have got
They
kicked
would have
out.
been on the curb.
They was already in the crib taking it. They was already in the crib taking their Renaissance furniture out the crib.
They would have been staying with Walona.
Man, Walona. That's another thing. You know what I'm saying? Florida. And correct me if I'm wrong, because you watched all the Good Times.
Yeah.
But Florida Evans was like the original city girl too, man, because she was out in the city all the time with Winona and shit.
You said she was the original city girl? Is that what you
the original city girl, bro? What you doing out in the club and stuff like that with Winona and stuff like that? You know what I mean? What's going on, bro? Ain't you fully married?
Well, I don't think she was out in the clubs. I know she would go out with Walona to go to supermarket and that type of stuff. But
I seen her in the club. I seen her in the club before.
I never seen, and well, there was episodes later. Or no,
after he died.
Later. It was during the time when James was around.
Okay.
And they did things together and went to parties together. Like there was one particular episode where there was a neighbor and they had a rent party for the neighbor because
I remember the rent party,
yeah. I can't remember the lady's name, but classic actress. She's been in a lot of movies. But yeah, man, like I don't. So that my issues with Florida Evans is that like I don't recognize that prayer is important for people, and I don't recognize that prayer to the Most High for you to be able to tap in to the power that exists within is a very important thing, right? But what I have a problem with is when people pray to this fictional being that's on a wall, right? And hoping for answers to come out of that. And then the depiction of that fictional being is not even right and exact.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's
Mm-hmm.
a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So and I understand the time period that we were in, but I think the issues that I have, more so now, because I recognize some things back then, but who didn't love good times? Um, but I know now, just because I have a just more expanded knowledge about things, that that the shit was just all wrong and the portrayal was all wrong. There was a lot of really bad symbolism in good times. Not to mention, when they killed James off, suddenly the house got a little bit better, right? Florida Evans start wearing better clothes. They all start wearing better clothes. You know what I mean? So things just just weirdly improved after the breadwinner and the perhaps, well, not perhaps, the head of the family is pulled. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Thereby sending this message that the black man in a household, when he's willing to play his position as a loving disciplinarian to his children, and then as a loving protector to his wife, is not needed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, they got the shit all wrong. And for people that are able to sort of sift through the the entertainment factor of it and see it, and see the story for what it actually is, then it's like, you probably wouldn't want to watch it again.
Yeah, but like I said, she's the OG. She's the original angry black woman. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like
Original
the
angry black
OG,
woman.
bro. You know what I'm saying? Like now everybody got attitudes and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I can talk to my man anytime I want. You can't tell me that shit. That nigga ain't shit.
Yeah, yeah,
It's television pimping
yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
a
No, definitely.
certain degree. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
like they pimp the man out the household.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so you get rid of him and stuff like that. You get treats.
That's right.
You don't need to be with that nigga, man. You know what I'm saying? Just come fuck with me and shit like that, man. I could pay your rent. You know what I'm saying? I get you free food and everything like that. I
Yeah,
got everything for you, baby. Yo, you could actually, matter of fact, you could just have a kid and you can get checks and stuff like that, baby. I got you, baby.
right.
Oh yeah, I think that's kind of yeah. I think that's a
Yeah,
good idea.
yeah.
It's
Interestingly,
going on for like centuries, bro. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah. Interestingly, there's this movie called with Diane Carroll and James Earl Jones, called Claudine. Yeah, I think it's called Claudine.
It's such a thing.
And she plays, it's a 70s movie in Harlem. She's a housekeeper. James Earl Jones is a garbage man, right? Sanitation worker, more appropriately. And she's a woman, she's a single mother. She's got like maybe 5 kids,
Yeah.
right? And she's on welfare.
Was the kid's daddy?
They don't, they're absent. There's different fathers. And the kids range from, the oldest child is Lawrence Hilton Jacobs, right? Claudine's oldest child is Lawrence Hilton Jacobs.
I don't know that.
Um, huh?
I don't even know what that is.
Oh, Lawrence Hilton Jacobs is Cochise from Cooley High.
Oh,
Yeah,
coaches.
yeah. So
I
that's
love them
her.
as coaches, man.
Yeah, that's her. I should have probably referred to him as Cochise.
Yeah,
So
coaches.
that's her oldest child, and the youngest is maybe not a baby, but probably 6 years old or something like that.
Hmm.
A total of 5 kids, if I'm not mistaken.
Hmm.
She gets in a relationship with I can't remember James Earl Jones' character's name, but she gets in a relationship with him. And they're building a relationship. He starts to come around to the family, meeting the kids, and starts developing a relationship with the kids. Uh, the oldest son is, giving pushback because he doesn't want anybody to come in and take his role as the man of the house or be a disciplinarian that he hasn't had for so long. But anyway, there's a scene that's really wild, right? Because one day James Earl Jones is over her apartment visiting, and the welfare social worker shows up. And the welfare social worker when they find out she's on the door, nobody wants to let her in. So they're blocking the door because if the social worker suspects that there's a man present in the house,
Right.
she could lose her benefits.
Ain't that crazy?
Ain't that some crazy shit? You know what I mean? Now I get it on the premise of if you guys if you're in a relationship with somebody, or if this man is the father to these children and he's contributing to the household and she's working as well, then guess what? You figure it out, you make ends meet, and you shouldn't be, taking benefits from the state government. I or the state and city government, which I agree with. But the fact that she can't even have a visitor over without being scrutinized is
Right.
a problem. You know what I mean? So
And
the lady
why is that an issue?
exactly.
Why are you so adamant about it
Yeah.
to the point where they have to hide you?
Right. Exactly. And the funny thing is when the lady comes in, when the social worker finally gets in the house, she takes it upon herself to go through the house and look for new things that might have been purchased.
Thank God this.
So so she sees a new, I think it's like a new iron or something. And she's like, "Oh, a new iron. How long have you had this? When did you make this purchase? How much did it cost?" I was like, "Are you serious? Like, I can't buy an iron?"
You
You
know
know
how
what I
many
mean?
how many women had to do that? And
Exactly.
now it's conditioned, like, you know what I'm saying, it's making men a lot of men weak.
Exactly.
Whereas, you know what I'm saying, yo, man, she got the crib, she got free stamps, all types of shit like that. I'm just gonna lay up in here, man. Because
Yeah.
it's such an abundance of people that's doing that.
Yep. Yep.
So now this guys is just lamping under women, and women are the breadwinners.
Yeah. 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 That's right. That's
You
right.
know what I mean?
Yo, you know what? I wanted to since we're talking about that, I have these some statistics up and I wanted to bring this up.
Where you find the statistics at?
The statistics are from the Office of Minority Health, and it's from the most recent census record,
Okay.
right? So in 2021. And it talks about uh education, and I'm trying to find it. I thought I had it up here. Let me see. This is health. Well, it says this one here. This is sort of, it gives a just sort of a quick economic overview, and this is as of 2021, 2022. And it says 60% of Black Americans say their household finances meet basic needs with at least a little left over for extras, compared with 71% of all Americans.
Say that one more time, bro.
Yep. So it says 60% of African, oh, well, let me say it more exactly how they have it here. 60% of Black Americans say their household finances meet basic needs with at least a little left over for extras, compared with 71% of all Americans.
Where they find that statistic at?
I don't know. Well, it's coming from census records, right? This is the only place that, like this economic data would come from. You
Are
know
they
what I mean?
lying?
No, I don't think they're lying. So, and I mean, to summarize it, they're saying that we continue to make do with less financial means in the house when compared with all other Americans.
That's crazy.
And much of that, and I'm not going to say much of that, but I'm sure a factor in that worth mentioning is the fact that many of our households are just made up of just a single parent, being a Black woman.
Right.
And they historically have had to learn how to just make do with less. You know what I mean? Just because,
Without assistance?
no, not assistance, but just make do with less, just because they're the only, person working in the house or the only parent in the house.
Oh shit! Hell yeah, man! You got water. You can make sugar water. You got a lemon. You can make lemonade.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you
I
you know
mean,
you figure out how to make do with less, and when it becomes a habit, and it becomes generational. You know what I mean? The expectation of even having a man or having a responsible man in the house is one of those things where it's like, I don't really need it, because every woman in my life, or the matriarch in my family, and all the women in my family when I was coming up, you know, from a little girl's perspective, she might say they all did it on their own. There was never no man around, and whenever there was a representation, a man around, the representation of that man was horrible. He didn't do shit. He wasn't present. He didn't work. You know what I'm saying?